Hi, hi everyone. Hi everyone. We have Lachlan here, even though it says again Cody. I don't know why again it says Cody. We're still trying to figure that out, guys. But that's Lachlan from Samurai Day Trading, and welcome to another
Thank you.
live trading room here with the Trading Pit and Samurai Day Trading. So, Lachlan, thank you so much for taking the time again on this lovely, lovely Thursday and having the trading session with us. Um,
Pleasure.
I hope everyone is doing great. As Lachlan said earlier, the markets are very, very happy. So we are happy if the markets are happy.
Mm,
That means there's a lot of opportunities to take. And I will not take too much of your time, guys. I want you to enjoy this week's session and, listen to Lachlan, Mr. Lucky. And we
thank you.
will check in towards the end again.
Sounds great. Alan, thank you very much. So, hi guys and girls, Lockie here. Hope you are amazing. So, yes, the screen does say Cody. Now, Cody is currently on holiday. Let me move this around here. Cody is currently on holiday, guys, in downtown Spain, which sounds absolutely amazing. The life of a day trader. I think it sounds pretty special. So, guys and girls, welcome. My name is Lockie. Yes, I am from Samurai, guys, from Samurai Day Trading out of Singapore, guys. I think we're in for a good little session today. There's no question about that. Guys, volume is a little bit higher than it was yesterday, so that is always good, guys. It's always good. I'll run through these slides, guys. We'll do all of our customer caution notices. Make sure that everything is bopping along, guys, and we should have a good day, guys. Now, just to warn you out, the FDAX is looking absolutely amazing for selling trades. All right, absolutely amazing for selling trades. So we'll just see what happens as we cruise in, guys. Very, very quickly, welcome to those that are brand new to the session. Guys, we do this every Thursday, and in fact, it is, guys, I cannot believe it is the last Thursday in June. Guys, it's the last Thursday in June. Guys, what does that mean? We've actually got a free masterclass on tonight. We call that the Trading Hub. Guys, so if you would like to come along, that is a trader support meeting that we do online. Guys, the whole purpose of that is to make sure that traders, be you a samurai trader or not a samurai trader, make sure that you are supported, guys, in the journey to be a great no, that's Firefly. No, that's all good. That's all good. That's all good. So guys, yeah, we're running our masterclass tonight, guys. It's going to be on Delta trading. So that's a proprietary indicator that we use, guys, for our trading. Guys, if you do want to come along to that, guys, if you're not registered for that already, guys, I'll put the link into the session a little bit later on. Guys, we do that every last Thursday of the month. Right, so it's an AMA format. Ask me anything about trading. Why does it go up? Why does it go down? Why did the FDAX do this? I'll do my best to answer all of those questions. And speaking of the FDAX, guys, setting up a stunning 15-minute short as I talk to you right now. So guys, why do we run a live trading room? Ultimately, as a team of professional traders, we can actually grow together, guys. So if you're brand new to the game of trading, or you might have been trading for a while and you want to improve your performance, guys, I tend to find that a live trading room is a great way to do it, guys, for 4 primary points. And I think probably the most important, guys, you get immediate proof of performance. So if a trading strategy actually works, you'll be able to see that strategy working live in front of you. Why do we want immediate proof? Guys, it builds confidence. Right? There's many thousands of ways to trade the market around the world. What we ultimately want to do, guys and girls, is we want to focus on one style of trading. We want to literally focus on one set of indicators, and we want to get on with the job of building our confidence in that strategy and also that approach to analysis. Now, that being said, guys, in the live charts, as I said, there is nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide in the game of live trading. So I really like that, ladies and gents, because at the end of the session tonight, you'll either know whether we know what we're doing, or we'll just be one of these forecasters out there in the world that says, look, I think Bitcoin's going to go up over the next 4 to 5 years. And then you say, well, where should I buy? Oh, we don't tell you when to buy. We just think it's going to go up or down. So guys, we are very, very different, guys. We're very different in our approach, very, very deliberately. And for those that are not aware, guys, Live Trading Room runs 5 days a week. We're running 2 sessions, European Open, which we're about to do. We also do a US close session, guys. And next month, if we are kissed by the technology angels, we'll also be doing a US Open, guys, a US Open session for you, just to show you the power of the strategy and what it ultimately does, which is very exciting. Guys, now in terms of compliance, a couple of things that we do have to run through, guys and girls. Compulsory. The reason Cole, you're doing very well. You're doing very well at the US Open. I was up, guys. I was up last night for the US Open. It did go very well, guys. If you need me to take you through or guide you through the US Open trades from last night, guys, I'll do that in the masterclass tonight. So first and foremost, we're trading futures and CFDs. What does that mean? It involves risk, guys, because we're borrowing money every time we take a trade. Then that's actually called margin. Then the risk is higher. Guys, what we must understand though in the game of trading, there are 2 risks. There's a risk of making money and also losing money. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we're on the right side of that equation. Guys, what does that mean? As you'll see in the live trading room today, we are professional risk controllers. Okay, now everything we do today, guys, is general information only. A past performance of the past performance. Up until recently, we could talk about the past performance, guys, of all these financial products. Now we're not allowed to. The flip side of that, guys and girls, is if you want to go to Instagram, so literally i.love.trading on Instagram, guys, every day, every couple of days, I put up a result. Hey, this is what we've done today. These are the reasons why. Getting some pretty good feedback on that. Guys, because at the end of the day, I think people in the world of trading are looking for transparency, looking for honesty, transparency, integrity, looking for people that actually trade real money as opposed to trading simulation money. I won't get into that argument, and it goes from there. Dan's on my short trade on FDAX, mate. So massive well done. Guys, now the presentation today, guys, ultimately we need to say, so we've literally got to say this, that the presentation is for education purposes only. The flip side of that argument, if you do like our education and you do like what we do, then obviously you're more than welcome to replicate the trades we're talking about. I was understanding that there's something called a market risk factor. Because we are trading over the internet, you may not be able to get the exact trade I talk about and vice versa, but we'll do our best to give you as much warning as we possibly can. So guys, who am I? Very brief history. My name is Lockie, guys. I did spend 15 years in the regular army. So not only am I an army veteran, guys, but I'm a pretty straight shooter, guys, when it comes to this thing called trading, if you don't mind the pun. So my role at Samurai, guys, I'm the head coach and also the presenter. I also wrote all of the algorithms that we're going to be trading today. So I'm a mathematician. Guys, I love maths. And as you'll find out today, the market just normally moves in mathematical cycles, okay, which makes it very, very easy to predict. As all of the indicators we're using today, guys, I'm just watching the FDAX fall away. Did I just mention, I don't know, guys, 3 or 4 minutes ago that there's a 15-minute short sitting up on FDAX right now? That trade is going beautifully at this point in time. Key point, guys, we do specialize in futures trading, guys. I discovered futures trading in basically August of 2007. By August in 2009, I was running my own trading school. Why is that, guys? Because there were no decent trading schools in Australia. And may I suggest at this point in time, I still don't think there are any decent trading schools in Australia as I speak to you right now. Now, what to expect? Guys, we're going to let the market do the heavy lifting. What does that ultimately mean? Because we are futures traders, the markets are going to generate the signals for us. Guys, they will tell us where to get into the market, where to get out of the market, how long to hold the trade for, where our risk is, where our target is. Guys, the futures markets do all of that for us because we don't trade through brokers. Guys, now I don't have enough time, guys, in this introduction to explain why we don't trade through brokers, but suffice to say the data on our screen is a lot more accurate than most traders around the world. So we get to be a lot more precise with our trading, right? So what we're going to focus on, guys, all of the red wows on the left-hand side is ultimately what we're going to be doing. As we're going to be we're going to be chasing multiple signals today. Guys, whichever one is your trading style or you have a really, really good feeling about, that's going to be the way to rock and roll. Now, the screens, guys, will be laid out as they are there with the NASDAQ top left-hand corner, followed by the S&P, then the FDAX, then the FESX. Guys, our primary reference chart for the entire trading session is, in fact, the FESX. Okay, now, guys, let's get into the live charts because we have a lot, guys, we have a lot to brief you in on today. Right, so let me get rid of that. You can see I've been here for a little bit of time. Guys, we've got a lot to brief you in on today. So we might start top left-hand corner, guys, top left-hand corner. Now, first thing I want to highlight is for the NASDAQ traders, your Fibonacci extensions today for the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are a little bit strange. It's a little bit strange. So what that ultimately means, if my Fibonacci doesn't fit properly, it ultimately means that mine is wrong because the market is always right. Okay, so we're going to play with some funny little extensions today, guys. I don't think I've got those extensions nailed at this point in time. I think we may be dealing with, the moment I look at it, I can see the extension. All right. So something to, g'day Dan. So hi everybody, hope you're fantastic. One of the most important things, guys, to remember is the market will normally honor a Fibonacci extension that switched the trend. Now, as soon as I draw that on, look what we've got here. There's the 141.4, there's the 133. Okay, so we've absolutely nailed our Fibonacci extensions. So again, they were a little bit funny before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get rid of, right, don't need that one there. I'll go to the 15-minute chart extension here. As we're going to go to the ABC pattern for those that are not aware. In fact, let me turn my camera off, guys, so we don't cover up any charts. Let me jump on that for you. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on the ABC pattern that switched the trend, because normally that's the one that is going to set the benchmark for our Fibonacci. And hey presto, guess what? We just caught the S&P 500 at exactly its 161.8. Right, so perfect. We fixed our funny fibs. Now for the NASDAQ traders, please note that the NQ is in a very, very strong weekly swing trigger long. Right, so there's no reason why we're just not going to keep buying and buying and buying and buying. Now, the enthusiasm, guys, to buy the NASDAQ is likely to run out of steam when the S&P 500 hits its R1. Okay, so for those people that are trading the S&P, you guys are staring down the barrel of an absolutely beautiful R1 reversal short. Right, so literally R1 reversal short. The flip side of that, guys, just above here, we've got yesterday's high. So what we do have to be aware of on the daily chart, is that a trade in its own right? No, it's not. Okay, perfect. So we don't have to worry about, because what I'm looking for there is with a yesterday level. So yesterday's high, yesterday's low. We've just got to be really, really careful that it's not a swing trigger or a step break, guys. If it's a swing trigger or step break, then we don't want to get in the way of the daily chart traders. The reason being is that the institutions love the daily chart, particularly the 1440 chart. I was going to be very, very careful. That would literally be like stepping in front of a freight train, which we don't want to do. Now, I do know, guys, that both the US markets are in 4-hour swing triggers long. What does that ultimately mean? As we could literally just grind and grind and grind all day, right? So we had one of these days last week where both American markets gave us swing triggers long right at the start of the session, and we basically just literally grind and grind and grind and grind and grind. Now, if we do that, guys, it's highly likely that the NASDAQ is going to push to 22592. All right, so 22592, as is all the way up here. Now, again, from where we are at the moment, that is a very, very large move with a very, very low volatility. All right, so I don't think it's going to get that far now, guys, but what I do think, we've got, double checking, we've got 13 US-centric news announcements tonight, guys, of which the worst are at 9:30 p.m. Tokyo time. So 9:30 p.m. Tokyo, guys, we've got 2 super high-impact news announcements. It is very, 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 very likely, did I mention very likely, guys, that those announcements are going to be positive, right? So they are going to be the US CPI announcements, guys. There is no reason why those announcements are going to be negative. As it looks like at this point in time, guys, in the last 3 weeks, the US has picked up more than $800 billion in income from tariffs. It's $800 billion in tariffs. What does that mean? CPI figures will be strong. What does that mean? I reckon that we are going to be going significantly higher than where we are right now. Okay, now, Guys, down to the S&P 500, guys. So just watch for the R1 reversal, guys. I'd suggest that's going to occur inside the US cash market. So I probably wouldn't be jumping on that one right now, guys. We'd wait for the cash market to turn. Now, I do note, guys, that both US markets are 2 phases into their 60-minute moves. So we'll go and have a quick look. 1, 2. We are still 2 phases. So guys, and the reason I mention this is really important. It's normally the second phase move, which is the strongest, right? So there's no reason why, these guys are just not going to grind and grind and grind and grind, all right? So we might get a short range reversal as on the NASDAQ off these 90%. If we were to close a series of candles, guys, on this 90% Fibonacci here, then we'd be looking for a slightly longer range short. But at this point in time, I think today, guys, it's all about the longs, right? It's all about the longs. 22532, that's exactly what I've got. Yeah, so guys, this one here, 22532, that is a very, very strong Fibonacci level. I note it's also the 161.8 extension. This is a great spot to reverse the NASDAQ. Goes for a short range reversal. So what I would do is if I was going to go short, goes on that 90 Fibonacci, I'd have a really, really tight ATM with a very long range target. Now, why would I do that? As I would do that, and the pre-market traders are allowed to trade the NASDAQ, guys, in the pre-market if you want to. As the reason I would do that is it looks like the FDAX has got a desire to go down first, turn around, and then go back the other way. Okay, so I think at this stage, now again, I think we'll trade what we see, not what we think. I think that the European markets are going to fall first before climbing, and I'll show you why I think that in a little second. All right, so back to the 5-minute chart. Something I do want to highlight for the Nasdaq traders. I'm just going to bunch all this up at the top, so we don't have to worry about it. I've got the stair step, guys. The stair stepping indicator is running on the NASDAQ. Now, I'll run it on the NASDAQ, guys, because a lot of the junior traders are focused on the NASDAQ. Just be aware if this is green, the buyers own the stair step. Guys, if it's red, the sellers own the stair step, and naturally we reverse against the step. Okay, so that's your automated step, guys, indicator, just basically making sure everybody knows who owns the stair step, because that's fundamentally important. Now, we move a little bit further down, guys. Time is looking pretty good. We've got 12 minutes. Guys, now, key point, if we can't buy much further, guys, particularly if we can't buy much beyond that 90% Fibonacci there, guys, on the NASDAQ, guys, we are setting up amazing daily shorts. Okay, amazing daily shorts. Now, what does it mean? If the numbers that come out of the US tonight are not what we are expecting, I'm expecting the CPI figures to be quite positive. That being said, I'm not an economist. I may get that completely wrong. As if the US decides that the CPI figures are good, but they're not as good at what they thought they were, then again, we've got daily shorts, right? So just to remind you what that looks like. As on the NASDAQ, okay, on the NASDAQ, if we were to sell below that little candle there, so below 223.84, if we sell below 223.84, these guys are going to tank. Right? And based on the last couple of days, right, they've got a long way to tank, right? A long, long, long way. So again, I think we're very, very much news. We're very, very much news centric today. There's no doubt about that. But the news, right, the news is not until 9:30 p.m. Tokyo time. So between 9:30 p.m. and 10 o'clock Tokyo time, as there are literally 13 announcements, right? So you've got to be ready for that. Now, guys, volume today was at 29,000 when I was setting up. We're now at 32,000. That's relatively low, guys, considering earlier in the week we're sitting at 100,000. So what it ultimately means, guys, for those people that are looking for a very, very high success rate, guys, with your trading, so sort of a plus 94, plus 95% strike rate. Guys, today what we're going to look for is pivot and Fibonacci-based reversals, really important. What we're also going to do, guys, is add a little caveat to that. Okay, so we will be looking for dual market signals, or otherwise known as dual market confirmation. Anyways, as I said, we've got a little bit of a masterclass on for everybody tonight. I can explain this a little bit more as we need to, but ultimately, guys, if we're going to sell the NASDAQ down, we're going to be looking for confirmation from the S&P 500. Again, we're always going to be looking down for the confirmation. Now, Come over to Europe, guys. A couple of things on Europe, which is really, really important. Guys, now let's have a quick look here. The FDAX. Guys, the FDAX, if we're going to get a relatively big move today, the FDAX is going to try and close the gap, which means it's going to try and sell down to here relatively early, guys, relatively early in the session. Okay, no question about that. Now, I've got a number of Fibonacci's running, guys, on the FDAX at the moment. I'll just wait for them to determine which ones they're going to use, and then we can go from there. More on that, guys, more on that one. If we do sell the FDAX down, guys, and we do get around about 23610, there is an amazing 60-minute long, right? So why have we gapped up today and started mucking around up here? Guys, primarily, I would suggest it's because of that long. Guys, at 23610. Now, we've also got to be super careful today, guys. You know how we love the FESX. The FESX has actually opened, guys, in a 4-hour long. Okay, in a 4-hour long, which is here with the black arrow. So I note with interest, guys, that yesterday the FESX cruised down. We spoke about this beautiful selling candle, guys, in the live trading room yesterday. Like incredibly strong sell. It sold down a long way, guys. The FESX down in the bottom right-hand corner here. The FESX has closed its gap. Just be aware that the FDAX has not closed its gap. So what it means, guys, there's going to be a lot of traders out there in the world that say that the FDAX has got to go down at some point in time and literally plug this gap. All right. Now, what's going to work against the FDAX doing that is that the FESX has already gone there. Right. So what it means, guys, for the DAXy traders today, we are highly likely to sell down a little bit, guys. Damsy, how are you? We're highly likely to sell down a little bit. We're highly likely to sell down a little bit, turn around and come back the other way. Just hold on one sec. Hold on one sec. I've got a message here. Okay. Okay. Right. I was just getting messages in the background. I'll fix those. What I think is going to happen, guys, with 8 minutes until the gun goes, this could be a little bit of a nemesis for us today on the FDAX. Right? So what it means is until proven otherwise, as we're probably looking for short range shorts and long range longs. Now, Europe can change this, guys. Europe can change if they want to. But at this stage, Europe is highly likely, or the big Europeans are highly likely to try and trade back to the 50 fib on the 4-hour chart, guys, which is 5,300, which is also a really, really lovely round number. Right. So what I think is we might get an initial sell down on the European markets. I don't think that sell down is going to be, I don't think it's going to be long lived. As what I have got for the absolute FDAX purists, I've put your 4-hour Fibonacci extension on here. Note that the 133 extension, which these guys love to trade to, almost allows them to close the gap. Guys, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if they have a crack at trying to close the gap first and then turn around and then come back the other way. All right, now down to, let's keep building through this one. Euro market selling down to key larger chart buying levels. Okay, really important point. Guys, down here on the FESX in particular, you see the FESX is sold down and they're basically picking up this myriad of reversals, right? This myriad of reversals down the bottom. As if we go to the daily chart, they're doing exactly the same, right? So this is what, Petros, how are you? Hope you're brilliant. This is what I'm looking for, guys. If we get a really lovely sell down on Europe tonight, like literally quite a robust little, wow, where did that sell down come from? That's a bit crazy. We've got to keep our eye, guys, on this little red candle down here. If the FESX was to sell down first around about the 5260 mark, we're going to get a bounce off that level. Okay, so what we might do is we're going to put a little circle on that because we're probably going to be coming back to that candle. Okay, back to these ones. We know about the news. Once we know about the news, we know about that. So we're going to start fattening out our, our charts. We know about that and we know about that. All right. So for the S&P traders, guys, we're going to start drawing circles. All right. You guys are watching for an R1 reversal. It is very, very obvious, guys, that the NASDAQ traders have clearly got a very, very strong static bar reversal short here. I personally would not go short, guys, just prior to the European markets opening. I'd also keep a very close eye on, very, very close eye on these guys. That Fibonacci can go because it's blocking our pivots. And see here, guys, see here that we've actually got the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 is trying to sell back down into double pivots, right? So that means that an opening candle reversal short on NASDAQ is not a particularly good idea. Now, if you love this candle, is what you're going to be waiting for in 4 minutes time is you wait for the buyers to push up inside the new hour and then sell short. Just be very aware, guys, if the S&P 500 is selling down into a pivot, that will have a negative effect on selling the NASDAQ. The flip side of that is if the sellers on the S&P close underneath these two pivots here, so there's obviously two pivots. I'm going to give you guys two arrows for the new people. If we were to close underneath that and then buy and fail in the opening candle, you're looking for really, really lovely sells. Okay, let me just blow up this little FDAX for us. We know about the gaps to the downside. So 23699, guys, 23699, that little black line there on the FDAX is a very, very strong daily short. Now, they won't trigger. Let me just double check that. 100%. They won't trigger that daily short. Guys, they won't trigger that daily short until the cash market, right? So they're not going to trigger. Typically, they won't trigger a daily short in the pre-market. So what we'll do, guys, was just start to build a database as to what they're thinking. At this stage, I would suggest the FDAX is actually sold down perfectly to its normal 133 fib extension. So again, what does that mean? Guys, we may be following. There may be two patterns we might be following today. We could be doing that one there, or we could be doing, excuse me, I'll get a sip of water, guys. Just hold on one sec. So I'd suggest the FDAX size is going to follow pattern down or pattern up. If we do follow the pattern up, guys, we're going to get like quite a robust move on the opening candle to the high side. We're looking for a failure at the standard Fibonacci's. No surprises, guys. And then ultimately it's up to these guys as to what they want to do. Now, let me grab some microphones, guys, as we roll through to make sure that I've got some hands going on here in case the market gets a little bit crazy. So Andy, I'm actually trying to turn your mics on and it's not allowing me to do that. Oh dear, I might be on my own tonight. Let me just try and get Damsey. Okay, hold on. No, all right, let me just, I'm gonna have to change a setting here. What have we got? 1 minute to go. Let me, guys, I'm gonna just message Arlen quickly. Can you? All right, we'll see how we go, guys. Those microphones won't be unmuted before we start the session. So we'll see how we go. Hold on one tick. All right, so for the FDAX traders, you may be setting up, guys, a pre-market top reversal on open. What we're looking for in a perfect world, guys, what we're looking for is the opening candle to go climactic. The opening candle to go climactic, run out of steam. If it spikes through to that 133 fib extension up there, then you're looking at a really, really quite powerful reversal to the downside. Right, if you don't trade the opening candle, please don't let me romance you into taking a trade. Very, very important. Okay. So at this stage, guys, it looks like we're going to pick up a pre-market box reversal to the downside. Now, the question is, are they going to run? Are they going to run to the downside? So the opening candle is not climactic yet, guys. It's not climactic yet. they're starting to look like they're going climactic. All right, so what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to keep a very close eye on what these FDAX traders do. Okay. Now, at this stage, let's have a quick look. Right, so now we're climactic. Now we're climactic. We're looking for a failure at the Fibonacci extensions. Okay, I'm just getting orders ready, guys, in the background. Just getting orders ready to make sure that if we are going to get a little move down here, it's actually going to be quite good fun. So let's just see how we go. Okay, got climactic candles, guys, on the FDAX. It may not have gone far enough yet, guys. It may not have gone far enough. And we are in a 4-hour long on the Europeans. Okay, let's just watch and see what they're doing. So nothing on the other markets at this stage. So nothing on the other markets. I hope these guys don't go up to the stratosphere, because all of our analysis from before might have us guys absolutely catapulting to the high side. All right, so at this stage, guys, we'll be leaving with that much risk. We'll be leaving the FDAX alone unless we get a very, very heavy pull down, which we don't yet have at this stage. All right, so we'll just keep an eye on what they're doing. Right now, they're literally in the stratosphere. All right, so if they go any higher, we're just going to have to wait for them to effectively run out of steam. All right, now I've got nothing on the NASDAQ at this stage, guys. Got nothing on the S&P 500. The FDAX size, we may be looking at an R1 reversal. Yeah, we may be looking at an R1 reversal. I'm looking for these buyers, to get absolutely hammered. But at this stage, guys, the risk underneath the 133 extension, the risk is going to be around about 15 points up to 20 points. So if that's not what you normally do, then you would not be looking to take a trade. You'd be looking for a climactic reversal. Now, the FESX is pushed up very, very heavily to its pre-top, guys, and a green Fibonacci. So the weight may be in favor of selling. So if you are a 133 fib extension trader, guys, then there is a short on at 755. At 755. Now that's if you can hold 20 points of risk. All right, so the FESX looks like it may try and turn here. We are in the last 90 seconds. We are in the last 90 seconds. So, whoops, let me just have a quick look at Fibonacci. All right, so there will be a Fibonacci running like that. Fibonacci might be slightly taller. Okay, it might be slightly taller. Let's see. Yeah, that's a really good fib. So for those that do like the 133, as if that is your trade, then you would be looking at this stage for this current candle to close. We may end up with 4-point turning bar here, guys, on the NASDAQ. No, it won't be a 4-point turning bar. Just be aware, guys, if the S&P 500 does not close underneath those pivots, so if we don't close underneath those pivots, then we won't actually be able to go short on the NASDAQ, unless you don't mind trading, guys, the NASDAQ independent of the S&P 500. Okay, now the NASDAQ will be at a Fibonacci extension, guys. There's no doubt about that. For the FDAX traders, if you do want to go short under the 133 extension, guys, you would be looking to go short underneath the current active candle. Okay, so if you're a 133 fib extension trader, you would be looking for a short now at 753. So you'd be looking for a short at 753. And again, you have got a risk control point, guys, of 5 points. And again, we would be looking to try and push that back down to the pre-top for the longer range. For the longer range target traders, down to the pre-top would be absolutely fantastic if we can get it to move. If we can get it to move that far. Now, for the Nasdaq traders, again, we're going to be very, very careful about selling the Nasdaq when we don't have permission from the S&P 500, which at this point in time we don't. So we're looking for strong closing or strong selling candles, guys, effectively on all markets simultaneously before we would look to try and sell the Nasdaq down. Now, some of you don't need the other markets to sell down in order to take a Nasdaq trade. I would prefer for the junior traders to wait for the S&P to get underneath those pivots, and then we'll look for a really, really lovely short. Okay, so we'll try and be a little bit picky today. Guys, volatility's down, volume's down. Let's just keep an eye on what we're doing. Now, for the FDAX traders, if you are short, guys, underneath that 133 extension, or you may have gone short on the climactic reversal, I would love you guys to go for a 5-point first target. And if you're new to trading, guys, 5s and 10s. If you've got a bit more experience, we're going to try and push for 5s and 25s. So 5s and 25s. Would be absolutely amazing. So for those that are short on the FDAX, for those that wait for the opening candle to close, you may be short, guys, underneath the 133. You may be short a little bit lower than that. Either way, let's try and push that through for a 5 and a 10 for the new traders, or a 5 and a 25 if you've got some experience. Okay, Anna, good job, good job, good job. Now, at this stage, we are not getting a large amount of selling. We're not getting a large amount of selling on the European markets at this stage. So what we're ultimately looking for is the buying momentum. It looks like it may have kind of calmed down a little bit in the short term. All of the eyes globally, guys, will be looking at the FESX down the bottom right-hand corner here. Effectively, what they're looking for is, are the FESX traders going to continue to try and trade in their 4-hour long, or may they try and close the gap? Now, a magic number for the FESX, there's a magic number for the FESX will be just here at 5282. Okay, 5282 happens to be the open. Right, so if the FESX was to try and sell down towards its open, so if you get a little bit of pressure there are going to be some sort of institutional 15-minute level traders that might try and have a crack at that. At this stage, we've got to watch the volume, guys, and the volatility, because we came into a relatively quiet session. So what we've got to be careful of is the Fibonacci-based trading today, particularly that 133 Fib extension, for example, on FDAX. That 50 Fib, guys, whoever told me about that 50 Fib, that's absolutely phenomenal. So a big, big, big well done, guys, on that one there. That Fibonacci is brilliant. Now, we'll just let this candle close. At this stage, guys, we've got some sellers thinking about potentially pushing the market to the downside. Now, I may have some FDAX traders that are short for slightly longer range targets. As I would suggest, if you're short under the 133, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 point size is the pre-top. So what you guys are asking is that you're asking the FDAX traders to try and sell through a pivot. So if you want to be a little bit careful on that one, guys, you might put a target on, say, at 732. If you're super careful, 735. So you're looking for a 5 and 20 versus 5 and 25. Andy, nice work, well done. As the reason being is, if these guys don't literally cut through the pivots like a knife through butter, then you might find that you get a little bit of a bounce, which might make you a little bit nervous down there. Okay, now for the FDAX traders, at this stage, that is a pretty strong sign by the sellers that we might be going down a little bit further. So if you are holding a slightly longer range target, guys, no trouble with that at this stage. new entries on FDAX to the downside. Right? So no new entries on FDAX to the downside. What we are looking for, again, with a gap down. So we've got a gap down, guys, on the FESX. Very, very quiet start. A very quiet start to FDAX after a bit of a shotgun move up. One of the reasons, guys, we're not short. So we're not short on the NASDAQ at this point in time is because we've got the S&P getting caught, guys, on these. We've got the S&P getting caught on these pivots. So what we'll do is what we'll do at this stage. What we'll do at this stage is I'd expect, guys, the buyers to probably show a little bit on FDAX here and then get hit pretty hard. If on the FDAX size we were to buy back above the 50 fib with my arrows on there, if we were to buy back above the 50 fib and back above that 133, the slightly more advanced traders might look for a second entry short on the 133. I'm actually hoping the buyers can't get back up there. So I'm hoping these buyers literally run out of steam relatively quickly, because that would kind of gel with the potential, guys, for a bigger downside or potential bigger downside move, which would be really good fun if we get that kind of personality coming into the European market, because we'll get a similar personality on the potentially on the American markets, making them a little bit easier to trade. It's a bit easier to trade. Now, at this stage, let me just check what these guys are doing. All right, so I've got no new signals at this stage. I've got no new signals. Craig, PBI. As if the volume drops out, so volatility, as again, this is why we've got the indicators doing what they're doing. Volatility is super low, super low at this point in time. So I'm hoping we don't get literally the volume just vacuuming out of the market and the market literally becomes too slow. Now, with the buyers, coming back in, let's have a quick look. The buyers are likely to try and climb back up, guys, to the body of this climatic candle here on FDAX. I'm very glad at this point in time we're not short. I was very glad we're not short on the NASDAQ. Now, if we do get two strong buying candles here, if we do get two strong buying candles on the American markets, I'm going to draw my Fibonacci down to catch them on the way up. And I certainly don't want to go long, guys, into the 50 fib of a micro trend. Now, if the S&P closes over the top of that, then we might see some buying. I certainly wouldn't be buying that on the S&P. So I'm hoping, guys, let's say in the next 1 minute and 4 or 5 seconds, that the buyers that are trying to show on the European market kind of go, yeah, you know what, I'm done. Now, the reason I say that, guys, is underneath this little green candle, okay, we are going to pick up a sell order on the FDAX. Right? So it's going to be a sell order. I was literally at 738. Okay, depending on the size of this candle, we might be able to trade it as a static bar reversal short. And just keeping an eye on the FESX, because if it kind of starts mucking around with its 50 fib, what have we got now? So at this stage, what is it? This stage. Okay, so our OSR, guys, our OSR for the Europeans is set. So what may occur at this stage, it is going to be a static bar reversal short. So what may occur typically is the Europeans may push back up a little bit here and fail. I would suggest they're probably going to push up a little bit and fail badly. That would be my goal, as it would be really lovely if the Europeans decided to push back down to the 50 fib of the day or the pre-top or anything along those lines. because if we start getting stuck inside the OSR, guys, on FDAX, it's going to have an influence on all of the markets, right? So we'll just let them do what they're doing. Now, for the FDAX traders, guys, if we do push up here, so if the buyers do push up as they're doing at the moment and get absolutely slammed, there is a static bar reversal short, guys, at 738. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to check the Fibonacci on that. Okay, so the micro trend Fibonacci is going to be the problem for that trade. Now, may I suggest at this stage, if the buyers push up here on the European markets and get absolutely walloped, right? So we're looking for the buyers to move in and get absolutely hit very hard. Now, they haven't been hit yet, right? So they have not been hit at this point in time. Then we might be setting up a brand new 133 fib extension reversal at 755. Guys, if you are going to go short, guys, at 755, the risk control point and first target is 750. Now, I'm hoping at this stage, again, just to make my job as a moderator very easy, is that the buyers push up towards that OSR and get hit very hard. Now, again, the risk, guys, going short, this would only be for those people that trade, guys, the FDAX off 133 Fibonacci extensions. As our volatility says that your entry's at 755 and your first target's at 750, you're on that first target now. Now, if the US decides they're going to run away, guys, this is exactly why we said we're not going short on the Nasdaq. That's exactly why we said that. At this stage, the sellers on this looks all right. We might have some news hanging around, guys. So what are these guys up to? Okay, just be very, very careful, guys. We spoke about twitchy candles all week. Now, clearly, the Nasdaq, guys, is potentially setting up an R1 reversal. I would suggest at this stage, you're better off waiting for, guys, you're better off waiting for the candle to close, making sure that both US markets are setting up a reversal short. Then we might be looking for a short with a tight, and we might be looking for a short, guys, with tight risk control and long range targets. Yeah, the volume is low today, guys, very, very much like yesterday. So we're looking for pivot and Fibonacci reversals. The markets are very, very jumpy, right? The markets are very, very jumpy. Right, so we'll just keep an eye on what these guys are doing. Let me see if I can get a Fibonacci to help us out. Can't get a Fibonacci on the S&P 4-hour chart. I can't get one here. As this is, again, we're in no man's land like yesterday. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to look for dual market signals. All right, so I did say this down in this one here. I think it's really important for the junior traders, right, the junior Nasdaq traders in particular, is that we look for both US markets to agree with each other. We did exactly that yesterday, guys, and it went relatively well. Okay, it went relatively well. Now, at this stage, guys, the FDAX traders, we may have some traders short, guys, under the 133 at 755. As if you are, you've just gone through your first target of 750. Guys, volume on FDAX is already low. Right? So we're already low for the session. We're only around about 19 minutes into the session. So we are going to have to keep an eye, guys, on trading volume. This may be, guys, took 2 trades. Well done, Petros. Nice work. Nice work. Dan, nice work as well. Nice work as well. So we'll just keep a very close eye, guys, on what the Europeans are going to do, because if we start dropping our volume, and they start misbehaving, as we're better off keeping our powder dry, waiting for the volume to come back into the market again. Okay, so at this stage, For the really careful traders, FDAX, I've got no new trades at this point in time for you. If you did go short eyes at 755, obviously they've gone through the target at 750. Now, for the NASDAQ traders, that is clearly a climactic reversal, guys. So an extreme volume reversal off multiple pivots that are hiding behind there. The flip side of the multiple pivots. Is the flip side of those multiple pivots. Some of you may have waited for the candle to push up and gone short underneath the pivots, which is fantastic if you've done that. As you've got both US markets showing extreme buyer volume at the same time. Okay, so you've got both of them showing extreme volume at the same time. That might mean, guys, that some of you may be short, for example, on the 141.4 fib extension, guys, down here on the S&P 500. Now, that would only be for people that are very, very, very experienced. This 15-minute chart looks like the S&P may be trying to get down back through its R1, guys. We might be trying to do that. Now, for the FESX, guys, I'm hoping for a close below the lower OSR, okay? Because if we do get a really, really strong FESX close, guys, below the lower OSR, then we know these guys are going to try and gun for a gap close. It's going to make the session significantly easier to trade. Right, so it's going to make the session significantly easier to trade if these FDAX traders, for example, decide to push down, let's say around about, it'd be a magic number down here, guys, around about the 724 mark. Okay, so around about the 724 mark. Now, that would mean getting back inside the pre-top. That would also mean, obviously, getting back inside the 50 fib of the day. Whereas the sellers traditionally on FDAX are probably going to try and target, guys, the lower OSR plus some loose change. Right? So some of you may be short on the FDAX under the 133 extension, which has proved to be immaculate again. Guys, if you are short and you want to try and stretch the friendship out, guys, anything around 725 is an incredible longer range target for the FDAX traders if you are short. Now, on the 15-minute chart, guys, it looks a lot like, so what are we, 7 minutes? Yeah, 7 minutes from now. It looks a lot like the S&P 500 may be gearing up for a short. The flip side of that, the big Europeans have got an opportunity here, guys, to potentially close outside the range of their OSR or get pushed back inside their OSR. If we get pushed back inside, it means that we're going to see buying everywhere. If we close really, really strong like they are right now in 90 seconds, it means we might get a crack to the downside, as we just don't know. We just don't know what they're thinking just yet. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, I'm just looking at my charts, guys. When I go quiet, I'm just looking at charts. All right, so we'll see what these guys have got for us. Now, the FESX, guys, could be the guiding light for us today on what the big Europeans might be thinking. The volume is not too bad, guys. Volume is not too bad on the FESX. For the DAX traders, we still have the buyers owning the stair step. We're looking for selling-based reversals only. The only thing we've got on FDAX at this stage, guys, is a static bar reversal short, but we're a little bit late, guys, in order to trigger that short. So I'd suggest at this stage, guys, no new trades for the FDAX traders. So no new trades for FDAX. Okay. So FESX has shown, guys, a very, very strong selling candle here. Now, the FESX, the FESX may be trying for its gap. Okay, so that may be what they're doing. So let's see what we've got here. FDAX, if your volume gets back into the 200s, I'm relatively okay with that. I'm relatively okay with that. 4-hour 50 at 5277. Thank you guys for the intel. Yes, there could be. Guys, there could be a 4-hour Fibonacci. We'll switch it back around the other way. There could be a Fibonacci looking like that. Guys, we know how much the Europeans love the we know how much the Europeans love the 50 fib. So we know how much they love the 50 fib. So let's just see what these guys do. So I'm just looking also at the value gaps on the FDAX. As again, mathematically under normal market conditions, so that's a big call, but mathematically under normal market conditions, the FDAX should probably try and sell down here, guys, and should probably try and take the other markets with it. All right, so again, guys, no new trades at this stage. Let me just grab a little bit more water. Okay. Now there will be a 60-minute chart 76 going on here as well for the FESX. Okay, I'm just watching. I was just watching what the big boys and girls are doing. So if they've done this, then this, then this, then there will be Fibonacci. Even though the volume is low, signals involving pivots or ratios like static bar reversal short, like the Fibonacci failure here, like the extreme volume, okay, they should all continue to push commensurate with lower volume and lower volatility. And so it's all about the lower volume and lower volatility at this stage. Okay, so a couple of serious sellers, for this level of volume, a couple of serious sellers trying to make themselves known in Europe. Okay, so I say serious sellers, guys. I've got a bit of punch. I've got a punch of sellers coming in before. Now, tonight, guys, is there anybody that needs the link to the class we're running tonight? Guys, it's going to be on Delta Trading. It's our monthly hub meeting, guys. We do that every month on the last Thursday of the month. Guys, the whole idea is to provide a very, very, very supportive environment, guys, for everybody to learn. Okay, so a couple of you need that link. All right, let me just watch these. Let me just watch these sellers. See what they're going to do on. So I'll grab that link in about 5 or 6 minutes. MJ is in the members area. Yes. Again, guys, I'll give you the Zoom link. It is also on the website. Okay, it's also on the website. I'm just watching what these sellers are doing. I'm just seeing what they're doing. At this stage, the sellers are trying to be quite strong, right? They're trying to be quite strong on the Europeans, but in this case, all we've done on FDAX is go back to the 50 fib. So guys, for those of you that were looking for a slightly longer range target, okay, looking for a slightly longer range target, then may I suggest it's got within a whisker of that longer range target and started to wind back the other way. All right, so we're just watching, guys. Our volume is down. Our volume is down. So I'll go and grab that link. Let me go and grab that link. I'll log in for you there. Now at this stage, we've got again, guys. So really important, guys. Really important point on the very important point on the Nasdaq is we didn't take the original short because of the pivots. Some of you may have picked up the climactic short. If you did pick up the climactic short, guys, well done. It's a very good trade. As Craig has already noted, the volume and volatility is down. So the volume and volatility is down. Okay, let me just grab this link. So I'll put the link in, guys. It's for everybody. If you would like to come and say g'day, as I said, we've got one key topic that we do. There's one key topic we do on a weekly basis. Monthly basis. Today we're going to be doing delta trading. Let's just see what these FDAX traders can do. Okay, now, all right. Oh, I almost pushed the start webinar button. That would not go down well. Dan, the meeting will be 30 minutes after the LTR finishes. The meeting will be 30 minutes after LTR finishes. Oops, I've sent that only. So let me send that to everybody. Now, guys, one thing I do in the LTR, I'm really big on this. For those of you who don't trade with us every day, guys, I do my best to actually show you sort of transparency-wise exactly what I've done, guys, with my own personal trading. Right, so I just want to bring it on the screen for you. So at this stage, guys, I'm sitting at 823 US. Right, so 823 US at this point in time on that account. What I'll do, guys, at this stage, probably switch to a second account and start trading that one. Then I'll switch to a third account and start trading that one. All right, so I want to try and be as transparent as I can. The signals that I picked up, guys, okay, the climactic failure reversal, all right, I've got ATM'd on that one, and then I picked up the 133 fib extension for a partial ATM. All right, so exactly what we've been talking about on the FDAX, guys, that's what I've managed to do myself. We've just gone through that long range target. So for those of you that were short on the FDAX, if you could hold the longer range target, it's gone through the black line, which was the longer range target, which is very exciting indeed. All right, now where has all this selling come from? Well, it's basically because the FESX, really important lesson, as FESX, very strong candle, closed outside the range of its lower OSR. Okay, so now as much as, guys, when I'm moderating, I'm only on 2 contracts, it's still an $823 US day at this stage, which is not too bad. How long have we been at this now? About 35 minutes. Now, for the American traders at this stage, wow. It's wow. Well, let's just see what we can come up with. Let's see what we can come up with. Again, we could be in for a very strong sell candle here on the FDAX. Right, so we can start stripping some Fibonacci's away. Let's get rid of that. So for the FDAX traders, you may be about to pick up a very strong sell, guys. The signal's an ABC, so it's an ABC short. If the FESX, nice, if the FESX down the bottom here closes underneath its gap, all right, so let's keep a very close eye on this one. If we close underneath the gap, the FDAX traders will have a green light for a short. Whereas if the FESX cannot hold above its gap, let's just wait. Let's let the candle count down. Don't try and front run it. Okay, watch the FEDAX. Okay. For the FDAX traders, guys, all we need is a retrace. So we want the buyers to push up a little bit. and then we're looking to try and sell the market down. All right, so we're going to watch this very, very closely. For the FTX traders, it would be very smart if we could push back up. It's very smart if we could push back up to the, let me just move this black line. Very smart if we could push back up here. I noticed that if the FTX is now closed outside, it's lower OSR, just like the FESX. If we had any FESX traders, guys, the FESX traders could go short. At this stage for the FDAX, I would love to see the buyers try and fail. I'd love to see the buyers try and fail, because if we get that, it's going to be brilliant. Or for the FDAX traders, again, we're going to have to wait for these guys to muck around down at the pivots, turn around and go back the other way. Oh, okay, here we go. Here we go. All right. So as for those of you that were in the OSR session with me a couple of days ago, right, all of this FDAX selling is being created by this one statement, guys, that one statement by the FESX traders. All right, so I would not be surprised at all, guys, if the FESX runs out of steam, we are going to set up 76 Fibonacci reversals. So for the FDAX traders, guys, I sound like a broken record. Okay, FDAX traders, there is a 76 Fibonacci long, if that's what you trade, at 705. Now, guys, if you're going to go long at 705, right, your first target is 710. If I could get you in a little bit lower, guys, I'd like to get a pivot-based reversal, okay, which was effectively our next cab off the rank. So again, two ways to pull this apart at this stage, guys. If we push down through the previous pivot, down here, guys, down there, then we're looking for a previous pivot reversal. If you can't get filled on the previous pivot, guys, we're looking at a 705 long if you trade 76 Fibonacci's. Now, if you did see the failure of the pivot, guys, you're looking for a long at 97. Your first target is 02, and you're at your first target. Guys, now let's just watch these guys very closely, because the FDAX is likely, guys, we haven't filled orders at 705 yet. The FDAX is likely to try and push back to its OSR, guys, and then fail badly. As in, so we're talking very, very short range long trade there. No, guys, it's all about the FESX at this point in time. I think we said when we came in that, again, our focus is always down in this bottom right-hand corner. If these sellers fail on the FESX, we're going to get a lovely trade long, guys, on the FDAX. Just watching the clock count down, guys, 1 minute 40. For those that are familiar with what we do, we generally don't like getting into trades in the last 90 seconds, guys, unless it is a pivot-based reversal, which is what we're obviously staring down the barrel of here. Now, what are you guys up to? FDAX volume is okay, guys. On this candle, we are going to cross through the 200s. For the American-based traders, I've got nothing for you guys at this stage. Right, I've got nothing for you, nothing absolutely concrete, other than we may be about to pick up a reversal long on the NASDAQ. Guys, now, if we get a reversal long, guys, I would like a 4-point turning bar, guys, or a very, very strong candle. What I'd also like is the S&P to be on the high side of both pivots. I don't want the S&P closing in between the pivots. Okay, I don't want the S&P closing in between the pivots. And I would love, guys, I would love a 4-point turning bar on NASDAQ. All right, we've just blown our volume for a 4-point turning bar. So it's not going to be that, guys. It's literally just going to be a strong candle. Let's look at a counter Fibonacci. You've got a ton of time here. Guys, there's no rush. Right, there's no rush. Okay. So the 50 fib, guys, of the micro trend is here. Okay, so probably the better way to trade this trade, guys, the better way to trade, if we get a strong buying candle, which we'll know in 14 seconds, it's got to be a CORPC candle, because it must be CORPC. All right, if it's not, we're not interested. All right, so let's just watch very closely. What I'm looking for, guys, is CORPC close, which we did not get. So NASDAQ traders, I can't send you long based on that. And also NASDAQ and S&P, you're in pivots, guys. I can't send you long on either as well. Okay, now for the FDAX traders, guys, if we get a lower low, right? If we get a lower low, there's going to be two reversals setting up. Guys, there's going to be a previous pivot. Well, you can get a double bottom if you want. Guys, there's going to be a previous pivot reversal. I would prefer at this stage for the junior traders to enter, guys, 1 point outside the range of the current candle at 23700. I definitely want to see a double bottom, guys, and I definitely want you to use a 5-point target. So if you are going to go long, guys, if you are going to go long at 23700, if that is you, we would want them to move through relatively quickly. DAX closed under the gap 50. Okay, let me just double check that. Let me just double check. Let me just double check. Okay, because there is another Fibonacci. There's another Fibonacci that plays with us, which is the gap 50. Okay, I've got my gap 50 there. Okie doke. Okie doke. That's right on it. Okay. So at this stage, guys, if you are a previous pivot reversal trader, guys, and you go long when you get a double failure at a pivot, guys, you're looking at a 9-7 entry with a 702 target, right? 702 target, which is here. Okay, so you guys are getting to the point that 70, yep, you guys are getting to the point where your risk is controlled only. Now, for those that have gone long at 700, guys, what we want is we need them to push through to 705 relatively quickly. Let's come on, sweetie. Push, boom. Anyone who is long on the FDAX, guys, even at 700, you've just been tagged out at 705 or controlled your risk, please. So FDAX traders, you've got two options here. You may have used the double bottom to go for a previous pivot reversal. Oh, thank you, Oh, baby. Run, baby, run. Come on, up you go, please. Up you go. So for the FDAX traders, it is a pivot-based reversal. Right now, for those of you that do pivot-based reversals Dan. I was going to say, I hope I've got a trade along for 5s and 25s, mate. You've just made my day. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. So for the FDAX traders who trade off the previous pivot, well done. For those that trade outside the range of the active candle, once we hit the previous pivot, well done. For those that traded the static bar reversal long, well done. Right. So either way, guys, super low risk, super high potential trade. All right. Now, well, that's a great trade, man. It's a bloody good trade. Dan, you're getting very good at those 5s and 25s. Now, I just want to highlight to everybody, guys, they add up pretty quickly, all right? So if you do a 5 and a 25, it's a 30-point trade, right? For the Aussies, it's $40 a point, all right? So it's a $1,200 trade. For the US people, 1,200 divided by 0.65. I've gone the wrong way on that one. Should have been, no. Anyway, wrong currency calculation. Let me do it for you again. It's a 30-point trade times 25 US dollars, $750 US trade. So for those that don't mind on the FDAX trying to reach out for that slightly larger target, guys, I say hats off to you. I think it's a fantastic trade. Right? Well done. Right? I really wanted that one to run. And why? The mojo of the market is very flat today. And yet the FDAX traders, I note that every time for the FDAX traders, every time we've got a static entry, it's paid. Well, Anna, you got 2 times 25 on FDAX. Oh dear, Anna's just made me look like an absolute rookie. Anna, well done. 2 times 25. I say hats off to you, Anna. I think it's very exciting. Well done. That's what you told me to. Well, I'm very glad, Anna, you are pointing the finger directly at me and saying it's your fault, Lockie, that I just made a really beautiful trade. You've made. So you guys have just made my day. That's really exciting. I've had a very interesting day, guys. Very interesting day outside of trading. Very interesting day. Has anyone, guys, just out of interest, has anyone ever had to deal with the Australian Taxation Office when it comes to self-managed super funds? Just give you a hint as to what my day has been like. Ah, dearie me. Jeez. Yes, we know we yes. Anyway, as it turns out, guys, as it turns out, they were absolutely lovely. They were lovely. Very helpful. Very helpful. Geez, I'm an ex-financial advisor. Because what it ultimately means in Australia is there's a lot of people in Australia that should not have self-managed super funds. Like what they should have, guys, and I'm not a financial advisor, but they should have proprietary limited companies, not self-managed super funds. So at the moment, I'm going through the rigmarole of shutting one down and moving everything across to a proprietary limited company because I do think I was given the wrong advice. And ironically, the ATO agreed, guys, which is really exciting. So I'll be moving stuff around a little bit, guys and girls, moving stuff around. So that's the day I've had, guys, the day of admin, admin after admin after admin. Sorry you didn't take it out. Diane, that's the catch. You can't take it out. You can't take it out of a self-managed super fund. No, you can't. Well, you can, Diane, you can, but what's the challenge? What's the challenge? What's the what so no, that's not correct. What's the cost of taking it out of your self-managed super fund? The super is fully protected liquidation and yes. So geez, there are pros and cons. In fact, geez, we should have a talk, man. You clearly know what you're talking about, which is brilliant. Yeah, Diane, you can't move it. You can't move it. It's stuck there forever. Yeah. All right, geez, let's have a talk. Let's have a talk. Now, have I got any FTX traders, guys, that are long? All right, now the reason I say if I've got anybody that's long, guys, we're 45 minutes into the session. Again, this is a buying candle, guys. This is a buying candle here on the FTX. Now, I didn't say go long because the risk, guys, is beyond our normal risk profile. Caleb, yes, probably good idea to have a chat to Giz as well, because he's obviously more up to speed than I am. But of course, man, Caleb would love to. So guys, this is a really strong candle, this one here on the FTX. US market's absolutely nothing. So I'll tell you what's going to happen tonight, guys. All right, little news announcement. This 9:30 p.m. news announcement on the US markets is going to go ballistic. All right, that's why nobody's trading. They're all waiting. So you guys have got 13 news announcements starting at 9:30 p.m. That is huge. Guys, now, if this news is positive based on what we're seeing today, which is no selling on the American markets, guys, the NASDAQ is going to skyrocket, guys, and this is where I think it's going. Right, I think it's going to 22592, 22592. I think it's just going to go boom to the high side. Now, the flip side of that, guys, if you're going to log into the virtual live trading room later on tonight, guys, particularly around about the US Open, I was actually on the US Open last night, guys, and for those that came to the OSR stuff we were doing earlier in the week, the US Open last night was so easy to trade, it was almost insulting to the S&P 500. It did exactly what we said it was going to do in the workshop. Was without fail, did exactly what it was meant to do, which is brilliant. Now, this long, guys, a couple of learning points if I can. The reason the long on FTX has actually gone quite well, guys, the reason it's gone quite well is because we closed below the OSR, guys, which is a pivot. They sold into a pivot. They set up a static bar reversal off a pivot. Now they've just gone and closed back inside the lower OSR. As we are likely to move back to the upper OSR. All right, so for those people that are looking for longer range targets, you've got a ratio-based static bar reversal long. Now, you guys have done really well. It was really well in that you've done a 25-point trade, no question. But with a little bit of experience, guys, and a little bit more enthusiasm in the market, there's no reason why these little buyers, even from all the way down the bottom here, guys are going to turn around and go all the way to the top of the jar. Right now, what they're going to run into in that journey are the counter 76 Fibonacci's. Right, so 1, 2, 3 buyers on the stair step. Okay. Boom. So look at this, guys. I would suggest at this point in time that the FTX traders, we are in the last 15, so no new trades for the FTX traders. But I wouldn't be surprised, guys and girls, if our turn of the hour trade, I reckon they'll push up here. They'll hit the upper level, they'll hit their upper rev limiter, fail badly, set up a stunning short. It's an offset, mate. It's an offset, right? So this little green line basically says if we close outside, if we close above that line, basically buy anything you can and hold on. Now, ironically, down the bottom here, there's a sell line. What did this candle do? Close below the lower tolerance. What happened is they just sold straight to a pivot. So that candle closed just there. Cole, you could have literally just pushed sell market and you cannot have lost money. It's not possible. So the OSR, guys, has got an upper and lower tolerance. All right, now, you guys haven't been taught how to use tolerances yet. But Cole, without being rude, mate, the S&P 500 last night, if you go and look at the tolerances, you'd be like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, so Tim, guys, Tim's been working on a project for the last couple of days, so unrelated to indicators. But when I get Tim back, which is tomorrow, I get Tim back all day. We are going to continue to develop, guys, your upper and lower OSR indicators, and then we go from there. Cole, on the FDAX, you're looking at around about 3 points. On the NASDAQ, you should be looking at around about 4 ticks. It's just like an extra, guys. It's kind of an extra. You know what? If you're really interested, you're going to do this. If you're really interested, you're going to do that. And I think, Cole, if anything, all we're trying to do is make trading easier. All right. So people walk away from the LTR every day, making more and more and more and more and more money. You know, Anna's little trade there, 2 times 25. I mean, everyone that's gone for a 25 pointer today, I got taken out by my trailing ATM, which I don't mind. Guys, my trailing ATM took me out at, mind you, I'm also moderating, guys. So it took me out at 1, 2. So my trailing stop took me out at 13 points, right? So 13 points. Which means that my signal had gone 18 points towards my target when I got stopped out. But guys, I don't mind. I don't mind that. You know, $800 to do what I've done today for you guys is exciting, and we just keep building from there. Now, what is the FDAX doing, guys? It's turning off Fibonacci. Okay, finally, we might have some personality coming in for the turn of the hour. So NASDAQ traders, we may get something. We may get something. What's our time? 16:55. All right, so we're coming into the Widowmaker candle. All right, let's have a look here. All right, so indicators tell me, that's why I wanted to put this stair step indicator on for you guys, to actually show you who owns the stair step. So at this stage, sellers own. Oh, mate, that'd be fantastic, Juice. Absolutely fantastic. So I will, Juice, are you on WhatsApp? Are you on WhatsApp? Because if you are, you will make my job significantly easier. Yes. Okay, cool. All right, so, mate, I'll send you a WhatsApp after tonight. And Telegram's much better. In fact, I prefer Signal. And I prefer Signal. Can anybody tell me why I prefer Signal to WhatsApp or Telegram? Why do I prefer Signal? Well done, Giz. Military level encryption. Yeah, military level encryption versus WhatsApp level encryption, which might not be what everybody thinks it is. So, guys, we're rolling into the last 5 minutes of the hour. Now, at this stage, guys, the turn of the hour trade for the American-based traders, what I would be looking for is both the US markets to push up, fail at the areas that failed at before, and then we're going to bring it down the other way. For the FDAX traders, it looks a lot like we're back into the Fibonacci extension trades that we were talking about before. As when we put our Fibonacci on, we had that 133 fib extension failure, which was absolutely amazing. So let's put that back on. Look at the game they're playing again. So for the FTX traders, guys, we are going to be very, very lucky to get this. Very lucky. Math, we got a lit. No, don't you go without us, please. I think the Europe's about to tank. What we want, guys, what we want for the FTX traders is we want the buyers to push up if they get up here underneath that 133 extension. So we need them to come up here. Guys, the backup trade is this static bar reversal here or that static bar reversal there. I prefer the higher one because it carries less risk. Guys, the entry point's going to be 741. Now, again, we need them to push up in this candle. All right, in this candle or in the turn of the hour. My concern is, guys, we're right on the turn of the hour. The push up needs to occur in the next candle. Now, these little FTX traders are going to take on us. Notice that 133 was really, really exciting little lesson. So this bank of reversals we picked up off the 133, they've just gone and set up a brand new 133 reversal again. Like brand new trade, same thing again. We've got FESX gapped below, mate. FESX gapped below, right? So what we're looking for at this stage, is we want the FESX to stay down here, right? So we want it to stay down here. We want the FDAX to buy up, fail badly, turn around and come back the other way. And we want them to buy up and fail badly inside the new hour, as inside the new hour, which is a lot to ask, which is a lot to ask. Okay, now just checking those in the background. I can hear my little chicken, my almost four-year-old chicken coming home. There's a lot. They're making, is anyone else got a little baby girl and do they make a lot of noise? Yeah, is it just me or do little girls make lots of noise? Yes, they do. And I don't know where she got it from, Dan. You are correct. I don't know where she got it from, but she loves changing outfits. So you literally will go through 3 or 4 outfits a day. And I'll say to her, babe, there's, literally, there's nothing wrong with what you're wearing. She goes, Daddy, I've been wearing it for a couple of hours. Or Daddy, it's dirty. I said, no, you've just put it on. Head and shoulders, absolutely, Juice. I do all of that. I just generally don't mention it. But what I'm looking for, it's a great question. Mate, what I'm looking for, all of the technical analysis patterns, guys. So this would look a lot like a head and shoulders on the 5-minute chart. No question about that at all. What would be amazing, guys, for the turn of the hour trade, if the buyers push up, guys, inside the new hour failed here, then we are going to pick up a traditional head and shoulders style trade. We just need both the American markets to literally get enthusiastic. Yeah, no, Cole. So that's a great question from Cole, guys. The question is it normal for markets to be in conflict? The answer is no. So we will come back to balanced. Probably after the 9:30 p.m. news tonight, all of the markets will balance out because they'll all respond. And tomorrow will be a walk in the park. The US Open tonight, guys, the US Open will be range bound, all right? So for the OSR traders, because you've got that 9:30 p.m. news, an hour before the US Open, I'd suggest the US Open tonight will be ridiculously predictable. That's why we're working on that US Open, guys, LTR once a week for you guys. And if it becomes popular, we'll do it more. Geez, it's a great question, guys. So 35 seconds. Let's do the turn of the hour, and then we'll see what we can get our hands on. At this stage, I need the American markets to push up. I need the buyers to steal the stair step, and I need them to fail. Now, let's see if we can get a Fibonacci. This is the quietest NASDAQ session we've had, I think, this year. This would have to be the worst session we've had this year. Now, mind you, how much money have we lost? None. Okay, none. And I think, yeah, and yesterday was no good either. So All right. So again, for the Europeans, you guys have got, you guys need to see some volume coming in. You need to see some volume coming in. Right. I don't have my volume warning indicators turned on, guys, but there is a volume warning indicator for you guys. There is a volume warning indicator. So if you forget to look at your volume, you can have the warning on your screen for you anyway. S&P, guys, this is the first time in a very long time we've had a PVI of 5. So for the S&P 500 traders who are sitting there humbly waiting for a trade, your volatility is right down. It's right down. Alexander, how are you? I hope you're brilliant. Well, it's brilliant. So it's for the slightly more experienced. A number of you have private messaged me, which is awesome. A number of you waited for this climactic candle on the S&P 500, and you went short underneath the daily 141.4, and that's gone really, really well. All right, now as a dynamic entry, some of you have also messaged me and said you went short up there on the NASDAQ under the pivot, okay, which is brilliant. That's a little bit more advanced than what we would normally do as in a public session like this. All right, so in the private session, as in a normal LTR session, as again, what we look for, that's just an FYI, what we look for, both American markets to go climactic at the same time. Right? And one of the Delta traders in Newcastle waited for this candle to fail here and took that red Delta short for 4s and 8s. So there are some successful trades today, guys. I haven't called the entry price for you on the American markets. Therefore, we simply just won't put them in the stats. Okay, so what have we got, guys? FDAX, we want the volume, guys. Look at this. All right, so DAXy traders, we need your volume to climb into the 200s before we look at taking a trade. All right, now at the moment, you guys are sitting at 48 contracts on the current contract on the current candle. That's too small. Too small. What we will probably get, guys, okay, if we do get buying that pushes up here, guys, and starts to get into these Fibonacci's on the FDAX, guys, if we do get that, you are going to see a big volume lift because there'll be people trying to swing trade, particularly that 150 extension. So they'll be waiting for the buyers to get up there and they'll basically sell them short. MJ, it's a really good point you raise. Guys, at this stage, the FESX is on the wrong side of a pivot to support a sell on the FDAX. But MJ, what you've just explained is why is there such a drastic volume drop on the FDAX? Everybody wants to turn it on the hour. Everybody wants to buy it up to here and then slam it back the other way. But they're all looking at the FESX going, hang on a second, we can't go short. So what are we going to do? Now, guys, look at the volume. Guys, it's currently 81. All right, so what it means, nobody wants to go long because they know they're going to get hammered here. So the professional traders are sitting on the fence going, nah, I'm not touching that. There will be some people out there in the world, guys, trading a 1-minute chart maybe who are like, oh, here's a great buy signal. I reckon those buyers are about to get annihilated. Okay, so well, guys, and does everyone know why we stick to a 5-minute chart, guys? Why we don't drop down to a 1-minute chart? Is everyone 100% aware of why we don't drop to 1-minute charts? And please don't drop to a 3-minute chart. Please don't drop to the 3-minute chart. Exactly right. Don't trade 3-minute charts. Don't trade 1-minute charts. Only because the institutional traders don't look at a 1-minute chart and they don't look at a 3-minute chart, right? They look at the 5-minute chart and that's where they make their trading decisions, right? Now, volume is slowly lifting, guys. We're in the last 90 seconds of the FDAX. The only thing that you can trade, guys, the only thing you can trade on FDAX at this stage is a 133 fib extension reversal short at 757. I would like that in the new candle, please. I want it in the new candle, not this one. Diane, I've had the discussion with a lot of people many times. And at the end of the day, I can only base it on the institutional traders that I personally talk to. And none of them trade a 1-minute chart. None of them trade a 5-minute chart. None of them trade Forex. Like I literally cannot find a single professional trader in the world that trades Forex. Not a single one. There's a lot of people that trade currency futures, but they don't trade Forex through a Forex broker. It's a complete, it's almost like a complete fantasy, Diane. You know, all these professional traders trading Forex. Don't get me started, guys. Don't get me started. We'll be here all day. Let's hold on one sec. All right, so finally some personality, guys. Let's see what this personality gets for us. For the FTX traders, we are setting up, guys, if we push well beyond, guys, if we push well beyond the OSR, okay, like literally get up around the tolerance and go a little bit higher, we might be picking up, guys, we might be picking up a reversal off that upper OSR. I would love the volume to increase, guys. We've literally got, what, it was 30, now 60 contracts. But they're building, so we need some enthusiasm here. Now, how are we going to deal, guys? How are we going to deal with a potential OSR reversal? If you are an OSR trader, guys, your entry is going to be at 72 short. So 72 short with a 5-point first target. If the FTX starts buying and buying and buying, guys, and we close over the top of the OSR, guys, which they're not doing at this point in time. If we do that, guys, then we're only looking for longs, not shorts. At this stage, we're looking for a short. Guys, the short is on at 72. If you want to be careful, guys, you can make it 71. Guys, and you're looking for a 5-point first target and risk control. Okay, 5-point first target and risk control. Now, the NASDAQ's just done it, guys. Okay, so we've bought. So I'm going to have to take my eye off the FTX for a moment, guys. The NASDAQ has just bought to exactly the pivot we wanted to short off, and the S&P's gone to exactly the spot we wanted to short. So if you are an S&P or NASDAQ trader, guys, NASDAQ, you've gone up to the pivot, gone beyond the pivot, failed at the Fibonacci, and then picked up the short at 547.50. Okay, S&P, you've picked up the short at 6164. 6164. FDAX, you're going very well on this trade. Dan, was it too quick? Okay, what I was looking for, guys, is the buyers to show, fail at a known area, and then we go short. Okay, so Cole's on the NASDAQ. S&P 500 traders, you're looking for this failure point at this 141.4. So if you have the buyers bought the market up, guys, then they got caught here. So you've gone short at 6164 with your first target, guys, at 6163. Right, now that's for the S&P 500 traders. I did put these circles on here, guys, to try and make as obvious as I could. Had a short order prepped. Okay, Dan, that's okay. That's all right, mate. There'll be another trade. There'll be many other trades. This is going to load an incredible short here on the NASDAQ. Now, if you are short, guys, if you are short on NASDAQ, look at your volatility as you're looking at a 16-tick first target or a 16-tick risk control point. Okay, 16 ticks. Now, for the FTX traders, exactly right, Juice, exactly right. Head and shoulders playing out perfectly. For the FTX traders, I took my eyes off you. Okay. Now, again, I don't know where you're at. If you've gone short at 771, did the market touch 766? Now, I watch it like a hawk, and I was literally, I can't see what it did. Okay, didn't do it. Okay, mate. All right, so that's perfect. So what we want, guys, what we want for the FDAX at this stage, if it hasn't touched 766, again, that's if you're an OSR trader. What we want is we want this candle to close inside the upper OSR, all right, inside it, and we don't want them to gap over the top. All right, now at this point in time, the FESX is not interested in buying the market at all. So the FDAX is probably unlikely to buy the market. Come on, little chicken, run like the wind, please. So for those that are short, guys, on the FDAX at 7.1, your first target and risk control point is 6.6. Right, this is exactly the candle we want. Okay, exactly the candle we want. We need the buyers that just failed very badly on the FDAX to fail again. As your volume is too low on FDAX to take a new trade. Your volume is too low to take a new trade. Guys, if we close, so for the NASDAQ traders, guys, we must get a higher high. We must get a higher high to take another short, please. Okay, we must get that. Okay. Now, I don't have a higher high just yet. As if we do get a higher high and we plug at those 76s, some of you might be looking at an R1 reversal short. If you are looking for an R1 reversal short, if we get buyers showing on the American markets, so a higher high would be amazing. Guys, then we're going to get a short of 547.50. As the upper OSR, depending on where your stop loss is, guys, depending on how large your stop is, that may turn back in our favor. If we get a buying candle that closes over the top of that upper OSR, and guys, we can't sell the FDAX for very, very obvious reasons. That's why I don't like taking my eyes off things. But again, I can't watch everything. Can't watch everything all at the same time. Now, again, for the S&P 500 traders, if we were to get a higher high, guys, we're looking for basically multiple Fibonacci failures. Guys, multiple Fibonacci failures. So a higher high is going to fuel a potential 76 fib reversal. Okay, MJ, that's fine. That's fine. Now, as my stop on FDAX is normally 25 or 30. So at this stage, I wouldn't be out of that trade, but I certainly don't want them buying any higher. All right, NASDAQ and S&P 500. So for the NASDAQ traders, your volume is okay. Guys, there is an R1 reversal short. Guys, literally, I'll put it on the screen for you. There's an R1 reversal short setting up at 547.50. Volatility is okay. Volume is okay. Counter Fibonacci is okay. All right, so what we're looking for now, guys, we're looking for the buyers to push the market up, fail very badly. That's why we're waiting for them to push up, create the higher high, identify their failure point, and then go short. Okay, and then go short. Now, let's just see what they're doing, guys. Just watch what they're doing, because at this stage, the only trade, I was a little bit too slow, guys, to identify this for you earlier, and that went okay. This is the only trade I've got left in my arsenal, guys, on the NASDAQ. All right, I would want these sellers or the buyers to push up. I want them to completely run out of steam and get absolutely hammered. Now, they're watching the FDAX here, basically saying, what are you guys doing with your OSR trade? Okay, I've got NASDAQ climactic volume is on the 15-minute chart to the high side. You might have just heard my indicators go off. Right, so again, guys, that is always good fun when the indicators tell you what we're doing. So at this stage, again, we tend to shy away from getting filled on trades in the last 90 seconds of a candle. Right, so what I'm going to do at this stage, guys, for the NASI is I'm going to move my order down the screen, right? Because I haven't been filled early enough in the candle. I'm going to look for the R1 reversal. Guys, I'm going to look for the R1 reversal in the new candle. That means that this candle's got to close below the R1. Now, they might turn and run without me, guys, which would be a shame. But again, the last 90 seconds seems to be a bit of an issue for the futures traders. Now, at this stage, if we don't close under the R1, I can't take the R1 reversal. If we don't close under the R1, guys, I cannot take the R1 reversal. All right, so at this stage, 12 seconds to go. I want to go short, guys, at 547.50, but I might not get the chance. Okay, I won't get the chance. So again, that is not for me. So we'll take the order off. Okay, so FDAX at this stage, I can't give you a short trade. I can't give you a short trade, and I can't give you a long trade. Now, because we've closed outside the OSR to the high side, guys, the FDAX is likely now to try and buy to a pivot like the R1. Now, the reason I can't send you long is not only is this candle a non-CORPC candle, guys, but the FESX is trying to buy back into a pivot and the 50 pip of the day. So as much as they're buying deltas here, the only thing I could do for the FDAX traders is wait for the sellers to retrace back down, touch the upper OSR, and then we pick up the lower delta, right? That doesn't mean you put your buy order on here and catch them on the way down. Guys, what it means is you wait for them to sell down underneath your order and then you put the order on. So you'd have to have the order up the top of the screen and then bring it down and try and get it on one of the deltas. Guys, that FESX under the 4 hour, exactly, mate. So I don't want to go long on FDAX. It's probably going to go long without me. Guys, I can't go short on the NASDAQ. What we might be looking for the S&P 500 traders is a push up on the S&P through these 76 fibs. Ideally, they would push up to the 88.6 and fail, and then we would pick up a 76 fib trade, right? So please don't put your sell orders here, guys. Don't do that. What you want to do is have your sell order down the bottom of the screen, guys, and then we're looking to, once these push up, we're then looking to bring our sell order up with a limit, guys, a limit, and try and catch them on the way down. So DAX, can't send you up, which is really, really annoying because the FESX is into pivots. For the NASDAQ traders, again, I'm very, very careful about sending you short until the S&P 500 agrees with what we want to do. For the US-based traders, guys, today has been very, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating indeed. We've had a loss on the FDAX, guys. If you traded under the OSR, I just didn't see what it did when I was watching the other ones. Again, guys, if I was on that trade, I would almost be getting stopped out now. Okay, now, again, I'm already over my daily KPI, so I haven't taken another FDAX trade. Point being is that I would be wanting at this stage for these guys to turn around and come back inside the OSR, but some people are not comfortable to carry the level of risk that I carry. NQ is at the NTR1. Thank you, Dan. Perfect. So at this stage, guys, if you trade the NASDAQ semi-aggressively, you're looking for a short underneath that 88.6. It's because your volatility is so low, guys, you would be looking for a really, really tight risk control point. So I would suggest around the 10 to 12 tick mark. Nothing wrong with going for a slightly longer range target, guys, but we are trading back down towards a pivot here on the NASDAQ. Okay, there's an R1 hiding here. Right, so what does that ultimately mean? Okay, if the S&P 500 traders push up to their 88.6, which they have, and then they start filling the sell orders, guys, at 65.25, then the S&P should have the capacity to go around about 4 ticks to the downside, which would be the risk control point for the traders. Okay, at this stage, guys, if you wait for static entries on both markets, we don't quite have that yet. And to go short, guys, to go short under the 76s here on NASDAQ, it means going short into an R1, guys, which is not a good idea at all. So the only trade, guys, and it's for those people that are slightly more adventurous, you're short under the 88.6 with a risk control point, guys, of 55.2.50. So if they don't turn and bolt, it doesn't matter. Well, Cole, it's an interesting thing you say, mate. No live trades for Cole tonight, guys. Again, I imagine there's quite a few S&P and NASDAQ traders who've said, you know what, Lockie, this is, I mean, Craig said it within 5 minutes, guys. Volume's low, I'm gone. So again, for the FDAX traders, you've had a really good start. And then if you took the OSR trade, you've had a negative. Guys, I obviously had a really, really good start. The best trade was Anna's trade, guys. So Anna and Dan, okay. Anna obviously got the biggest trade of the day. That static bar reversal off the previous pivot, guys. It literally went back inside the OSR, straight to the high side of the OSR. Now it's closed on the other side of the OSR. It's just going to keep going and going until a major pivot, which is where it is right now. Okay, so that's basically what the FDAX will do. And Anna, for your reference, if we get stuck at a major pivot and then they close back on inside the lower OSR, they're likely to go all the way to the higher OSR. If they close beyond that, they're likely to just keep going and going and going. Right. So that is a way, guys. That is a way that you can potentially pick up a really big reversal. Right. And Anna, how you do it is you take your reversal down here, control your risk quickly. For your long range target, wait 15 minutes. Okay, if you don't have 2 red candles against you, wait another 15 minutes. If you don't have 2 red candles against you, wait another 15 minutes, and you just keep going. Any training session? Yes, Manoj, 100%. So we are doing a Delta, we're doing a Delta class tonight. That is the link. If you click on that, you will register for tonight's training, but also register for the training for the rest of the year, which occurs on the last Thursday of every calendar month. So the last one. So, all right. So where are we at, guys? At this stage, I can't send you short, guys, on the NASDAQ into a pivot. Okay, I can't do that at all. Just can't do it. I would suggest, guys, the American markets may be just following the FDAX through its OSR. Our 4-hour chart. Guys, this is the 1, 2, 3. This is the 4-hour reversal we spoke about a little bit earlier on. Guys, this one just here. And what they're basically doing now is they're just basically grinding until the news, right? Which was Manoj, thanks. Will I get for this one? Yeah, once you click on that, mate, it should say thanks for registering. Here's your start. But we start in around about 40 minutes from now, mate. So it should do everything for you. Should do everything for you. Okay, so for the FDAX traders, we had a really good start, guys. No question about that. Went really, really well. For the NASDAQ, guys, many of you may not have got a trade today. Okay, and again, congratulations, guys. If your trade did not show today, that's okay. We did have a loss over here on the FDAX. Now we are basically just caught, guys, in a trending market. What does it mean? If we get big, fat, strong, efficient candles, guys, on both US markets simultaneously, you can basically just jump on that trade and hold it, guys, for between 15, 20, 25, even 30 minutes. You've just got to be careful. What's the risk on the actual candle? We must have, guys, strong candles on both American markets simultaneously. Remy, doing my best. Tonight was really tough on the American markets. And again, I wouldn't say easy on the European markets, but the European markets were easier than the Americans. Same as last night. Okay, same as last night. So I traded today. Sorry, guys, I traded the day today is definitely Anna's trade on the FDAX. That's a big trade, Anna. So big well done. Big well done. You guys, any questions at all? We've got about maybe 6 or so minutes until we will end the session. I will then run away, guys. Get ready for your class tonight. We've got all of the. I've already marked up the screenshots, guys. We're already ready to rock and roll. Remy, you got 11 ticks. Dan, you got 5 and 7 off the R1 reversal. Well done, well done, well done. As you guys know, I picked up 13. So I got an ATM, guys, an ATM and 13 points. So I'm sitting at $823 US. So 823 US. So around about 1300 Aussie, not too bad. I didn't get this lower trade, guys. Otherwise, I'd be sitting on a lot more. The reason I didn't get it, guys, I was just making sure that I wasn't going to throw people into a losing trade. So if there's any question about a trade, guys, what I'll do is I'll actually make sure you guys get in the entry and I can always trade a little bit later if I choose. All right, but as it turns out, guys, it's worked again for the FTX traders. All right, guys. Any questions at all about anything that we've done, guys? Looks like we had about 70 people in the Zoom with us today. Not to mention those on Instagram, those watching on YouTube. Arlen done some very, very fancy stuff. She does some very fancy stuff in the background, guys. So again, there's quite a few people watching us live, which is really, really quite good fun. Dan, my absolute pleasure. So again, for the FDAX traders, as I was saying on the way up, I think everybody's finished on the DAX. The only reversal we're going to get up here, guys, is an R1 style reversal. Now, if you're being a little bit adventurous on the FDAX, you wait for them to push through, and then you enter outside the range of the active candle and try and push it back down for a 25-point trade. At this stage, you'd want to try and push it down, guys, to the upper OSR at 775. If we close back inside the upper OSR, as you want to try and push it down to at least the 50 fib of the day, which turns it into an absolute monster trade. Where I can see you live trading, yes, Emra, 100%. If you were to go to the samuraidaytrading.com, so samuraidaytrading.com website, so literally samuraidaytrading.com, mate, just jump on that website. You apply for a free membership, mate. Apply for a free membership, and then you can choose whatever service you want, be it coaching, advanced coaching, indicators, live trading room. It's all there, mate. All there, ready to rock and roll. MJ, you are short off the well done, mate. So guys, MJ is short off the R1. He's got a 20-point target out, and he's running with another contract. So, mate, if you are a fan of Samurai value gap in the market, right? There's an incredible target just here, incredible target. Your target, man, if you want to be a little bit courageous, is 755. 755. What you need to go and get 755 is you need them to close inside the upper OSR. Now, at this stage, the FESX looks pretty strong to the downside. Looks pretty strong. So if you're short off the R1, 5, 10, 15, 20, so you're at 25s. All right, just watch I'll just watch it for you, mate. I'm watching for 3 touches of that tolerance level there. So you've got 2 touches of the green tolerance. So you've got 2. Right, so just watch them. They'll tell you exactly what to do, mate. They always do. They'll tell you exactly what to do. I'm watching for a 3rd touch. Yeah, what I mate. No, that's fantastic. So guys, out of interest, the levels as a futures trader, your levels always get touched 3 times. So I'm just watching for the green line here on FDAX to be touched again. Okay, that's not a touch. So normally what will happen is they'll touch the level 3 times, and on the 3rd touch, they get rejected. So in this case here, it'll be the sellers touching and the buyers rejecting. So just watch for this, because if they come down and they touch a 3rd time, if they touch a 3rd time and they don't get rejected, then the sellers are going to fall through the buyers. All right. So there could be a good little lesson here. Watch this really closely. So watch for the touch. It's literally like kiss and touch at school, guys. Okay, that's not a rejection. They didn't touch. There's Arlen. Oh, the big boss is here. I better no, don't talk about kiss and touch. It's like the schoolyard. I'm going to get in trouble here.
No, stop it. Stop it.
Okay, so we are currently having a kiss and touch competition with the FDAX here, because it kisses Arlen. It kisses this green line 3 times, and then they get slapped in the face. It's only kissed it twice. Oh, there's the slap. Look. Oh, boom. All right, so he just got slapped twice. That's very rude, FDAX. But I can talk to you about 3 touches in the next session. Arlen, we've gone okay. We've had potentially 1 trade on the NASDAQ, 1 on the S&P, but only for the advanced traders. And we've had a really good run on the FDAX, and then we had a loss on the FDAX at the top. But the NASDAQ and S&P, if you see the screens here, that is the worst and most congested trading session we've had all year. That's the worst session we've had all year.
Well, I mean, we started the session with you saying that the markets are happy. How did we get?
Yeah, the markets are happy, and then something. Mate, happy with that. So at this stage, the markets were very happy, and then they literally shot up, this big climactic candle, shot up, got really happy, and then got sad again. And they've sat there. I mean, that is literally the most congested S&P and NASDAQ I've seen in a very long time. Now, mind you, I have said to everyone, Alan, which is really important, that's because there's 13 news announcements at 9:30 p.m. The markets are going to go nuts. So everyone, the big institutional traders are out to breakfast saying, you know what, I'm going to wait for the 9:30 and then I'm going to go. So you watch what happens. It'll be crazy.
All right.
Anyway,
Well, guys, keep an eye out for that. We need to keep an eye on the markets today in that case.
it's 4 hours from now. It's going to go ballistic. So just watch out. So, perfect.
Okay. Guys, 4 hours from now, put the timer on and keep an eye out for that.
And
Guys,
be
first of all,
careful.
Lachlan, thank you so much for another great session, even though you're saying the worst session that we've had. Hey, we're not always here to trade and make a lot of winning trades, but at the same time, we're also here to learn. So everyone, I
Absolutely.
believe that we've learned a lot today, a lot with stop losses. So that's really, really nice to see. Thank you again, Lachlan. I can see people here in the chat are very happy. So thank you again for that and for Samurai Day Trading for this great live trading room. And we will see you again next week with the Trading Pit live trading room here on Thursday. And whoever is watching the live trading rooms with Lachlan on Samurai Day Trading, you have another session tomorrow. And yeah, that's great, guys. I'll see you again next week.
Sounds great. Alan, thank you. And thank you, TTP. Love your work.
Bye.
Bye-bye.